Hey y'all, Keto Coach E here. So we are going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about some things that you should consider while doing the ketogenic lifestyle. So stay tuned. All right, y'all. So welcome to the live. So we're talking about tonight, we're talking about the things to think about while doing the ketogenic lifestyle. And y'all know I like to teach and list and things like that. So one of the problems that I'm noticing, and this one, I like to talk about the things that touch me within the week. So one thing that really touched me within this last week was individuals who are afraid to exercise because they want the scale to change. And they're afraid to gain muscle because they really want the scale to move in to get lower. You know, they don't want the scale to move upward. And we all know that muscle takes up less space. So you're going to lose inches, but you may not see it on the scale because muscle mass will actually show up even more on the scale in the positive direction instead of the negative direction. So therefore, individuals who are in weight loss mode sometimes shy away from exercise. So I'm going to give you some things, some non-scale type victories that you should be considering, that you should be thinking about outside of just the scale. Just thinking about the scale can be so detrimental to your success on the ketogenic lifestyle. And I'm going to give you 9 or 10 things somewhere around in there. And some things are probably going to pop up in my brain as I go. So I'm going to give you like 9 or 10 things to consider outside of the scale, outside of just how many pounds have I lost. And I say even inside my mastermind group, I have to check myself sometimes, because it's like, you know, inside the mastermind group, is like one of our check-ins is like, how much weight have you lost? So I really also want to make sure that they know that it's not only about the weight loss, that it's also about many other things. So here's number 1. And I try to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, but y'all know I might lose that somewhere along the way. But how do you feel outside of keto? How do you feel outside of just weight loss, in sense? Just outside of the number on the scale. How do you feel? How are you feeling while you're on the ketogenic lifestyle? I know for me, some of the things that have improved, and I'm just talking about feel. I'm not talking about blood work or anything. I'm just talking about feel. I have more energy. That's number 1. As a basketball coach, I wanted to make sure I was in the deepest version of ketosis on game day. Every game day, I want to be in the deepest version of ketosis, because I noticed that when I was in the deepest version of ketosis, I was much sharper. I would be able to, a kid would dive on the floor, I call a timeout so quick, they'd be like, wow, like I'm ahead of the play. I'm so far ahead of the play. I'm ahead of the game because my mind is so sharp. My energy levels are crazy. So that's one of the things about how I feel. So that was outside of the scale. How do you feel? Do you have more energy? Like I'm saying, I have more energy. Another thing that changed for me was my gut health. How is your gut health feeling? Like I used to tell everyone that, like, man, I could pass gas on cue. because my stomach was so jacked up. And I know that might be too much information for some, but I apologize. But that is facts. Like my stomach was so jacked up. I always had gas. I always was bloated. I had acid reflux. I had everything. I was literally so full of air that it was trying to come out of both ends. And I couldn't even stop it, to the point where I was about to start taking medication before I started the ketogenic lifestyle. I was going to start taking medication. So my stomach, my gut health feels so much better. Another thing that has changed is my appetite. I am not hungry. I used to be hangry. And my wife, I know it came from this commercial, the Snickers commercial, where they would say, you know, you are hangry. And I used to be hangry, y'all. I used to be to the point where if I had gone too long without eating, like my wife would see my mood change and she would be like, okay, you're hangry. Like you're getting hangry. And I'm like, yeah. And I noticed I don't have that anymore. Like, for example, today I got up, I drank some coffee. We had a basketball game with our pro team in the summer league. And we go down there and we played at like 2:00. And then I come home and I ate. Like, so you imagine I didn't eat till 4 o'clock. I wasn't even thinking about food. Like, I wasn't thinking about food at all. So another thing that has helped me do it is help me be able to just not be hungry all of the time. I tell people about when I got married. When I got married, I wanted to lose weight because I was overweight at that time and I wanted to lose weight. So I chose to count calories because that's all I knew. I chose to count calories. And this is one of the reasons why I try not to that's one of the reasons why I compare that to the ketogenic lifestyle. And here again, like we just had a conversation with Latina SD over here on TikTok. Hey, every lifestyle is not for everyone, but calorie counting is something that is a dietary piece that has been taught for a long time. And we still have 7 out of 10 people that are overweight or obese. So there's got to be a tweak to that. And the one problem I had was I was always hungry. Like I would weigh the almonds on the scale and I would eat X amount of calories and I was weighing food and all this, that, and the other. And I lost weight, y'all. I got down to about 200 pounds. And this was before keto. Got down to 200 pounds. I didn't feel good. I was always hungry. And I'm going to tell y'all what, by the time the repast was over, I probably had gained 50 pounds because I ate everything in sight from that day on. And it wasn't really sustainable to me. Like I couldn't sustain that lifestyle of counting calories and weighing how many nuts I was eating. I couldn't sustain that lifestyle. So in actuality, there's another thing, and I'm still on number 1, y'all. That's another thing that I want you to consider about the ketogenic lifestyle, because that's what worked for me. Like I just felt so much better that I wasn't hungry. I wasn't hungry, and I noticed I could lose the weight. Like right now, I'm 205. I'm 205. You think on my wedding day, I was 200 pounds. I was 180 in high school. So in my man weight, I'm at a pretty good weight. But I can tell y'all, when I was 200 counting calories, I didn't feel good. I didn't feel good at all. I'm 205 and I feel great. I feel great. I'm not hungry. I have mega amounts of energy. I mean, I'm telling y'all, my energy is off the charts. So those are some things to consider. So we're talking about, and I'll reset y'all. Make sure y'all follow the club on Clubhouse. Make sure y'all follow the club. I'm going to come in here a few days a week and drop some knowledge in here on the ketogenic lifestyle. But I really want people to start thinking about some of the things outside of the scale. And I tell y'all, I go back to things that touch me throughout the week. And that was one of the things that touched me throughout the week. It's one of the things that touched me throughout the week because I heard it probably from 3 different people that they kind of didn't want to exercise because they felt like as they built muscle, the scale didn't move as much. Man, build that muscle. You know, if you have it in your mind to go exercise and build muscle, go build that muscle. Build that muscle because you're going to look different. You're going to feel different, even though you could potentially not lose the lbs, but you're going to look and feel so much different. It's going to shape and sculpt your body differently than if you don't exercise. So that is the motivation behind this conversation, is non-scale victories. So let's look at number 2. What do you do outside of eating keto? What do you do outside of eating keto? So that goes back to exercise. That goes back to your mindset. So are you just eating keto? Are you just eating keto? Or are you exercising? So exercising I'm not gonna say don't have anything to do with keto, but outside of keto, you can do that in any lifestyle. So are you exercising? Are you walking somewhere, you know, walking up the stairs, down the stairs, from the back of the parking lot to the front of the parking lot? Are you taking a walk in your neighborhood? Are you doing something to get your body moving? Because one of the questions I get, and this is another one that hit me this week, one of the main questions I get is, do I have to exercise to lose weight? No, you don't have to exercise to lose weight on a ketogenic lifestyle, but exercise is just something that is imperative for a healthier life. So in keto, it can be something as small as a walk. It can be something as small as a walk to burn off those glycogen stores. So what are you doing outside of keto? Are you drinking water? You know, that's not quote unquote keto, but are you drinking enough water? Are you getting enough fluids in on a daily basis? What are you doing outside of keto? How is your mindset? Are you working on your mind? Are you working on your mind on a daily basis? I mean, I'm not saying you have to meditate, but are you meditating? That's outside of keto. Are you working on your mental health? Are you working on those things? Because a lot of us have ended up in this position of wanting to lose weight because of our mindset. You know, our mindset went to a certain place and we ended up basically paying for it with weight. So paying for it with weight or our health or whatever it might be. So are you working on your mindset? Are you personally developing yourself? Are you doing things to keep your mind strong while you're on the ketogenic lifestyle? When you're going to get the attacks from friends, family, and other individuals who are going to tell you that the ketogenic lifestyle is not good for you. And you say, well, how is it not good for you? And they can't give you any data. They can't give you anything to tell you why it's not good for you. They just like, it's not good. The ketogenic lifestyle is not good for your kidneys. Explain to me how it's not good for your kidneys. I don't know. It's not good for your kidneys. You know, so you got to understand that there will be people who make comments that know nothing about the lifestyle. And the crazy part is, and I had this conversation the other day, is some of those same individuals that will tell you the ketogenic lifestyle is not healthy for you have sat at the table with you while you ate food and drinks that were unhealthy and didn't have a word to say to you. So keep that in mind as well. But you're going to have to work on your mindset. You're going to have to work on your personal development, because you're going to have to be able to work through those attacks. You're going to have to be able to work through those, because people are going to say things like, oh man, you lost a lot of weight. You're looking skinny. I've heard that myself. Here I am, a man that's 6'4", 205 pounds. And I've heard, oh, you lost too much weight. Like, you losing too much weight. You're getting too skinny. And the thing is people who see you all the time are going to think that because they've seen you within a short period of time, 6 months to a year is a short period of time, lose a considerable amount of weight. They've seen you, they've watched you. Someone who's never seen you before would not even have that thought in their mind at all. You know, and some people would even argue that the people that are closest to you will tell you that you're getting too skinny, and then people that don't even know you will tell you that you're overweight. So, you know, you got to have your mind, you got to get your armor on. So what are you doing outside of the ketogenic lifestyle? Are you drinking enough water? Are you working on your personal development? Are you working on your mindset? I have a whole mindset class I'll drop in here one of these days. Are you working on that mindset? Are you exercising? So that's number 2. Number 3, are you forcing things? You got to are you forcing things? Are you trying to intermittent fast too quickly? Are you trying to do egg fast, beef and butter fast, all types of things because you just want to lose weight really quickly? Are you forcing it? Don't force it. So this is another one of those things I need you to think about while on the ketogenic lifestyle. You don't have to force it. The lifestyle will work itself. You just have to just continue to push through and do the things the right way. Do some of the things that I'm teaching, or whoever your coach is teaching you, and lock into that and listen. And don't try to find a shortcut, because I notice a lot of times people will look for the shortcut. They want to know how they can lose X amount of pounds really quickly. I can almost guarantee you at least once a week in my inbox, somebody's going to say, man, I went off the lifestyle for a little bit. How can I get back into ketosis fast? And that fast word always like, whoa. Anything that you can get quickly is not worth having. So we have to make sure that we stay away from that. I want it fast. I want it quick. I want it to happen right now, because then you're going to be disappointed. The ketogenic lifestyle will work for you as long as you do what you need to do and follow. Like what I say in my community is show up, speak up, keep up. So that's one of the things I say in my community, because if you show up, you're going to learn. But showing up is not always good enough, y'all, because sometimes you need to speak up. Sometimes you need to let people know that you're having some difficulties. Sometimes if you need people, you need to say, hey, I'm having some struggles with this. Can you help me? So that's the speaking up piece of it. You got to be able to speak up at times and say, hey, I need help here, or hey, I saw this ingredient. What is that? Or hey, I've been eating this and I don't know how I'm feeling. Like, has anyone else experienced that? Like, you got to speak up. So you got to show up, you got to speak up, and then you got to keep up. So the things that you learn, we're not going to go backwards. We're going to keep up with the things that we learn, and we're going to keep going forward. And the thing I love about my keto community is we all pay it forward. We continue to help. That's why when I go live in my clubhouse, you're going to see I bring mastermind members up on stage. I bring mastermind members up on stage because they also have in their mind to pay it forward as well. Like we all just pay it forward in here, because this is what we do in the mastermind. We have our conversation, we talk, we share, and I'm bringing a piece of that to the clubhouse when I do my classes. So here y'all go. And TikTok has been rolling with me for a while. So let's see. You said we can provide you with firsthand supply and the best after sales service. Somebody on here trying to sell me something on my drop shipping agent, trying to sell me something on my live. I swear to y'all, man, it's crazy out here. All right. So are you afraid to make a mistake? Sometimes people are so afraid to make mistakes. It's okay. It's okay. I tell everyone I have made a mistake most recently, which, like, if y'all go way down my TikTok page, y'all will see me promoting Birch Bender. And like somewhere along the way, I would say within the last 4 months or so, one of the mastermind members was like, Coach, she was new. She was like, Coach, you always talk about this Birch Benders, and then you teach us about ingredients. He said, I looked at this thing, and I had never really looked at Birch Bender because I had been eating it for so long before I had really got into teaching ingredients. And I looked at that thing, and it had tiger nut starch, and it had I think tapioca starch in it. And I was like, I can't believe this. Like, I've been eating this, and I tested my blood sugar, and sure enough, it spiked my blood sugar. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. Like, sometimes people will go into the store, and they're just like so afraid that they're gonna make a mistake. And then if they make a mistake, they beat themselves up, and it's like, oh, I knocked myself out of ketosis. And it's a lifestyle, y'all. It's a journey. It is not a destination. It is a journey. It is not I'm still on my journey. I lost 5 pounds during the pandemic. I was 210 for a whole year. And then all of a sudden during the pandemic, because I was so locked in to teaching my group, that I was being strict, a lot stricter on keto than I had been. And therefore, I even lost 5 pounds during that period of time. So just, y'all don't be afraid to make mistakes. You're going to make a mistake. I'm getting ready I'm letting you off the hook right now. You're going to make a mistake on the ketogenic lifestyle. You're going to make a mistake. You're going to eat the wrong thing. You're going to eat the wrong thing one time. You may even go to a birthday party and eat the cake. So just understand, you're going to make a mistake at some point in time. The whole thing is you cannot beat yourself up. You cannot beat yourself up if you make a mistake, because that's the part that's detrimental. Because now you can't recover quickly because you're too busy raising your cortisol levels because you're stressed out about the mistake that you made last week or 2 weeks ago. So you got to let it go. So I see someone on Facebook, I can't see who it is, says, I fear the mistakes. Don't fear the mistakes. We all make mistakes. Mistakes actually make you better. They make you stronger. So don't fear the mistakes. I'm not saying go out here and make mistakes just because you like Coach said I can make a mistake, and you go in there and decide you're going to buy some cupcakes because you're like, I'm going to make a mistake. So don't go that route. But if you make a mistake and you buy an item, and then you learn that item is not so not in the realm of keto that you want to practice, then okay, I just won't buy that no more. It's fine. I don't buy. That's like me. I found out about the Birch Benders pancakes. I just don't buy them no more. That's the bottom line. I don't buy them anymore. So you're gonna make mistakes, y'all. Be okay with it. I'm still learning. You think there's products coming out every single day, so I'm learning new things every single day when it comes to all of these other things around the ketogenic lifestyle, especially when it comes to products and all of these like little things that come out in the store for the ketogenic lifestyle. So number 4 is do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to make mistakes. Number 5, are you comparing yourself to others? Are you comparing yourself to others? And I say compete against yourself. Compete to beat your old self. So think about this. Are you better than you were yesterday? Are you better than you were last week? So if you go in there and you buy the wrong product and you learn, are you better today than you were yesterday? Not only that, but comparison is the thief of joy. So I'm going to say that one more time because it's one of my favorite quotes of all time. Comparison is the thief of joy. Now, how many times have you had, how many people here on one of these lives, y'all let me know y'all still out there, because, put a 1 in the chat if you've ever seen somebody's success and you kind of had that little feeling like, man, why am I not doing that? And then you turn around and look and you done lost 40, 50 pounds your daggone self. You done lost 20 pounds your daggone self. You done lost 10 pounds your daggone self. And you looking at somebody else and you're like, man, why am I not losing weight like them? You just stole your joy. You just stole the joy of you losing your 25 pounds, your 10 pounds, your 5 pounds, your 75 pounds, whatever it is, you just stole your joy. So the comparison is the thief of joy. You have to celebrate every single win. Every single win. You must celebrate it. You got to celebrate every single win. I see Misha, the only one that ever felt that way. I done felt that way. I feel that way sometimes as a creator, as a person that's doing social media and pushing out content. I feel like that a lot. I'm like, oh man. And then I had to take a step back and say, man, look what you've done. Like, look at the community that you do have. Look at the people who do love your content. Look at the people who do show up and learn and have changed their lives. Don't worry. Don't be looking at somebody else. Don't be looking at other people and comparing yourself, because you just stole your joy. You just stole your joy. So comparison is the thief of joy. That's number 5. Are you comparing yourself to others? And remember, you're looking at everyone else's highlight reels. You're looking at everyone's highlight reels. So you have to make sure that you're careful about that. So number 6, do you have a growth mindset or a fixed mindset? Constant course correction. You have to have a growth mindset. You have to have a mindset that, like, I'm going to continue to get better at this. I'm going to continue to get better at this. Oh, that strategy looks like something that might help me. Let me open my mind. Let me open my mind to that. Do you have a growth mindset? You have to have a growth mindset to be doing the ketogenic lifestyle, because number 1, like, we have never been eating fat. I mean, I can think most people here, we're all probably somewhere around the same age, give or take 10 years in any direction. But we all pretty much grew up in the same era, in a sense where we didn't eat no fat. Like, everything in the store was low fat, no fat, zero fat, zero cat. Everything was zero this, zero that, calories, fat. We don't know how to eat fat. So on the ketogenic lifestyle, when you come to me and I'm like, yeah, you got to eat 120 grams of fat, you're like, what? Where am I going to get that from? So you got to have a growth mindset. You have to have a mindset that you're going to be able to stretch and you're going to be able to learn, and you can't have a fixed mindset. If you have a fixed mindset, you're not going to succeed on the ketogenic lifestyle, because the ketogenic lifestyle goes against the majority of the things you've been taught all your life. And this is the one thing that I challenge people with, is that if you've been taught all of this stuff all your life and you still feel like you need to do better, then it's time for you to open up your mindset. It's time for you to take that fixed mindset and change it to a growth mindset. And I'm pretty sure everybody here has a growth mindset, or you wouldn't be here, because the ketogenic lifestyle requires a growth mindset, because it is a newer way of eating. It's a newer way of eating. I know it's over 100 years old, but in a dietary realm, it's fairly new. People are just really starting to really understand it and use it for weight loss, because it's been used for brain health and things like that. But people are really just starting to get it. So you have to have that growth mindset. Number 7, are you working through your problems? Are you working through your problems? Like, sometimes people have a problem on the ketogenic lifestyle, and their first instinct is to quit. Their first instinct, I'm not losing weight, I should quit. No. Would you tell that to your kids? Would you tell that to your nieces and your nephews? Would you tell them that? Would you tell them to quit because things got hard, because things got difficult? Like, sometimes we have to look at what we've been able to do on the ketogenic lifestyle. There's so many times, this is my favorite phrase, and some of you may have heard this that work with me. Somebody loses, let's say 40 pounds. And they're like, Coach, I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And that's one of the main phrases I hear too. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And I'm like, oh, you're not doing nothing wrong. You lost 40 pounds. And then this is the kicker question. When is the last time you lost 40 pounds? And then people will just be like, never. Like, I've done nothing but gain weight since I was 20 years old. So you got to understand that as well. Like, don't, you got to work through your problems. You're going to have a stall. You're going to hit. I told you I was 210 for a year before I lost another 5 pounds. So, like, understand, you're going to go through these periods of like, it's not really working for me. You got to tweak it. You got to change some things up. You got to ask questions. You got to show up. You got to speak up, and then you got to keep up, because if you don't speak up, then you can't get the help. So you can't just say, coach, I'm struggling. You got to get on the phone with me so I can tell you, so I can get some details on what might be putting you in the struggle, so that we can get you out of the struggle. Everyone is going to go through these periods of time where, it's ebbs and flows. Like, sometimes you're going to be flowing, and then sometimes you're going to be like, like, I don't know. Like, I tell people, July and August are 2 of the hardest months of the year. The other 2 hardest months of the year are November and December, because November and December have Thanksgiving and Christmas. And, some people do tend to stress about the holidays. They tend to stress about it because, you're buying gifts. Some people spending money that they don't have to make their family members have an enjoyable moment or period of time. So it can be a stressful time. So people tend to go off their eating plan. In the summer, people going on vacation. July and August, they're going on vacation. People are enjoying the sun and the fun and doing things that you don't normally get to do during the wintertime. So these are like 2 of the hardest months of the year. But are you working through those problems? Are you working through those struggles in the ketogenic lifestyle? Some people tend to quit too early. So I'll say this, I'll give an example, and y'all can see my example on one of my videos where I'm on a football field. And let's just say the yards are months or days or whatever. So we go 10 days, 10 days in, and you turn around and you look back at the goal line and you're like, oh, it's really close. Like, I can go back. And it's not a problem. You just go back, right? You quit. So now you've gone up 20 yards. You like 20 days in, you're like, it's still kind of close. I still got to go all the way down the other side. So I might just, I'm gonna go back. So people will quit. You get to the 30 days and you're like, man, I've seen a little success, but I got that far to go. I'm out. People quit. 40 days, they get there, they like, oh man, I still got to go another 60 days to kind of get that, see anything working. And you look back and you're like, well, I got a shorter distance to go back than to go forward. So I'm going back. So people get to the 50-yard line or the 50 days in, and now they got to make a decision because they're like, oh, well, I'm about halfway. I'm halfway there and I've come further than I've been. So what am I do? Some people will still quit right there. But when you get to that 60 and 70 and 80-yard line, and you start to realize that where you came from is farther than where you're going, now you can't quit. Only people that quit, people quit when they ain't been through nothing. That's when people quit, because it's easy to quit when you ain't been through nothing, or when you don't have anything to lose in a sense. So if you haven't put in any work and you quit, you don't have nothing to lose. You're like, I don't have nothing to lose. I ain't been putting in the effort anyway. So people won't quit when you have something to lose. So you want to make sure that you're working through the problems, that you're working through the hard times, that you're pushing through it. So Emma said yes. So I messed up often, but I'm getting better, and that's all it's about. Are you better today than you were yesterday? Can today's Keto Coach E beat yesterday's Keto Coach E? I don't have to worry about beating the next person. Can I beat my yesterday's self? Can I beat my last week's self? Am I better today than I was last month? That's what it's about. So number 8, are you snacking too much? Are you snacking too much? And so on the ketogenic, are you snacking too much? This is something to think about outside the ketogenic lifestyle, inside the ketogenic. Are you snacking too much? Have you taken your habit for eating snacks to the ketogenic lifestyle? So have you just replaced that bag of Doritos with a bag of whatever? With, let's just say, pork rinds, and you eat the pork rinds just as much as you've eaten the Doritos? Have you replaced Lily's chocolate with the regular chocolate that you just used to eat all of the time and overeat it? Like, how are you snacking too much? So I put down here as a rule, which I've kind of created for myself as well, and I had to do this the other day. Eat real food first and then evaluate. So if you feel like you got a snack, I don't care if you've eaten your 2 meals or whatever, if you're going to go over your macros, if you're hungry and you're getting ready to go on a snacking binge, eat real food. Don't worry about the macros. Don't worry about that at that point, because at the end of the day, you're gonna mess them up anyway if you just start snacking. And the snacks are not gonna give you the nutrients that you're looking for. Eat real food, and then after that, if you still feel like you want a handful of those Lily chips, eat the Lily's chips. But eat some real food first, because you probably will be satiated after that, and you will be fine. I'll add this, because sometimes people tend to not realize that you're gonna go through cycles of being hungry, and you're going through cycles of not being hungry. So when you're not hungry, don't panic. Don't panic. The day is coming when you're going to be hungry, and it's going to come with probably the next 5 to 7 days. So if you're not hungry, just roll with it. Just roll with it. So if you feel like, okay, I've been going a little too long, maybe I need to eat a little something, that's fine. But don't panic if you're not hungry, because then the next 5 to 7 days, you're going to be like, I don't know what's wrong with me, coach. I'm eating everything. So it's going to go through the ebbs and flows, and just, when you're hungry, eat. When you're not hungry, don't force yourself to eat, unless it starts to become a problem. Now, if it becomes a problem, now you got to work through the problem. So if it becomes a problem, like, it's like 30 days, 40 days, and you're like, I just not eating. Like, okay, now we got to fix that. But if you're 1 week at a time and you're like hungry one day and not hungry the next day, don't overthink it. So number 9 is, are you trying to be perfect? Are you trying to be perfect in this lifestyle? You will not be perfect. And I'm really speaking to myself, because I've always had this thought of like, I got to be perfect. Like, everything's got to be perfect, even with videos, even like doing this, like years ago, I would have never done this, because I'm using a computer that I had since like 2017. And the camera is probably not as good as computers usually are. I'm loading it up to YouTube. I don't care. I'm loading it right on up there to YouTube. It don't look like everybody else's YouTubes. Probably don't have no great thumbnail on it, but I had to get out of that. I got to forget about being perfect. Stop worrying about being perfect and be present. So I say, I'm going to be present. I'm going to be present on TikTok. Whether I had a big old star on my eye for like 60 days, I was on here every day. Hey, y'all, Keto Coach E here. I hang it all out. I forced myself to do that. I said, I'm going to get on here and I'm going to do that. I'm not going to worry about being perfect. I'm not going to worry about looking perfect. I'm going to be present. So don't worry about being perfect, y'all. Be present. Practice the lifestyle. Be consistent. Consistency is the key to success. I'm telling y'all, I have lived by that for a long, long time. In basketball, I promise you, in my neighborhood, I was not the best basketball player in my neighborhood. I was not the best basketball player in my neighborhood. But by the time I became college age, I was the only one on my block that played college basketball. So just understand, it's about consistency. Why? Because I got up every day. I dribbled that basketball in front of the house. I went down to the court in the morning and shot the basketball every single day. So it was about consistency, about piling that compound interest on top of each other over and over and over and over and over again. So how consistent can you be? Are you consistently having choice days, or are you consistently practicing the lifestyle? Are you consistently having choice days, or are you consistently practicing the lifestyle? So you want to make sure that you are consistent. That's going to be the thing that's going to help you get over the hump, is being consistent, practicing the things that are going to help you get to a better place. So that is my 9. So how do you feel? So think about how you feel outside of the ketogenic lifestyle. Talked about the gut health. How do you feel? Talked about energy. So what do you do outside of eating keto? Do you exercise? Do you practice? Do you work on your mindset? So I talk about working on the mindset, and what I've done is something that helped me all my life. Is I would listen to nature sounds. People would probably think I was listening to 50 Cent, but I was listening to nature sounds, and I would do that all of the time. So what I did is I went and created. I have nature sounds music. If you go on any streaming platform and type in Kevin English nature sounds, you'll find I made 3 CDs. Why? Because I loved it anyway. So I wanted to give that to the world, because maybe it'll help somebody else. So I worked with a producer and I made those. So why not? Why not? So those things will help me. So the nature sounds, the meditation. So I got nature, I got meditation, I got relaxation. So I got 3 of them. If you go to my bio, I think it's in other things created by Keto Coach E, you can find that. But you don't even have to pay for it. If you got a streaming service, you can just put it in your playlist. I promise you, it'll help relax you. It'll help ease your mind. If I was ever around something that I deemed that I didn't want to get into my spirit, I should say, I would put the headphones in and I would turn on like the nature sounds or the meditation sounds and block out everything. So like I'm saying I'm in the barbershop and it's got like some show on TV that I'm not really trying to have get in my spirit. Boom, boom. I'm listening to something else. So you got to work on that too. Work on your mindset. Work on other things outside of just your eating, because there are things in the mind that are causing us to eat in a certain way. So you got to work on the mindset as well. Number 3, are you forcing things? Are you forcing it? Are you just like, I got to lose this weight right now? Oh, I got a wedding coming up and I got to lose this weight today. And you're like stressing yourself because you got to meet this deadline. You got to meet this. So you're like stressing yourself. And then you don't hit the deadline and you're like, this don't work. And you're like 2 pounds away from your goal. And you're like, this ain't working for me. You know, like you got to be able to just not force it. Some people are forcing fasting too early. Some people are trying all of these different beef and butter fasts, this egg fast, and all of these different things too early, or just to try and push themselves further ahead. And even when I do these type of challenges inside my mastermind, I tell people, I said, if you're in the flow, you better not do this challenge. Like if you're in the flow, you just keep going. This is only for the person that might be stalled or the person that might need to try and pick things up a little bit. But if you're in the flow, don't be trying to change nothing up because you want to now that you're in 5th gear, you're like, man, I want to see if this car can go in 6. Like, no, like keep it rolling. Just keep going. Don't try to push it. Number 4, don't be afraid to make mistakes. We all gonna make mistakes. I'm letting you off the hook right now. You're gonna make a mistake somewhere along the way. I told you about it. So now you don't have to beat yourself up. Are you comparing yourself to others? Comparison is the thief of joy. Courtney Jones says, when should you incorporate fasting? I think that fasting happens naturally. If you just let it happen naturally, you'll notice that you'll fast for 12 hours with no problem. I say learn the ketogenic lifestyle first, get that part down, and then you can take it to the next level. It's a lifestyle, right? It's a journey. It's not a destination. So why are we trying to jump into it day 1, day 2, day 3? And then you're adding a level of difficulty to the game, and you don't have to. You're adding a level of difficulty to the game. So just imagine you got a child, and your child is 10 years old, and you're like, you're going to go play with them 12-year-olds, and they just starting to play the game today. And you're like, well, why are you going to make me play with 12-year-olds when I can play with kids my age? Like, no, you're going to go play with them 12-year-olds. And they're going to go up there and get their head bust. They're going to lose and be feeling not have no confidence. And they, it's like, why am I, like, I'm not fast as them. I'm not tall as them. They jump higher. They run faster. So it's the same kind of thing with the ketogenic lifestyle. People, they come into the game as an infant and they think they're going to run before they walk. Like, come on, let's learn how to walk first. Let's get this part down first. Now, once we master this, now we can start mastering that, because it's a journey. And the thing is, too, is if you don't start introducing some of these new things so early, then you won't get tired of the lifestyle so quickly. I didn't start fasting until 3 years in. And granted, I may have done a little bit of fasting just because I was naturally fasting. But yeah, don't try to do too much too fast. And that's one of the things I have down here is not trying to do too much too fast. So are you making this? I kind of lost my number because I answered that question. So are you don't be afraid to make mistakes. Number 5, are you comparing yourself to others? Comparison is the thief of joy. Number 6, do you have a growth mindset? And I say everybody here on this live has to have a growth mindset, because you understand that the ketogenic lifestyle is not what's been taught to us for the last 30 or 40 years. So we all have a growth mindset because we understand that whatever it is that we've been doing in the past ain't been working. It ain't been working. And that's why I'm so passionate about this, because I saw what it did for me, like right away. My mother had diabetes, or has diabetes. My father has diabetes. My grandmother has diabetes. My first encounter with diabetes was my grandmother sticking a needle in her stomach. And I'm like, me, I'm scared of needles. I'm like a kid. I'm like, a needle? You sticking yourself? Like the doctor don't have to hold you down, because doctor had to hold me down to give me a needle at that time. So like, I'm like, you sticking yourself. And you say, yeah, I got diabetes. Like, what is that? And now I come to find out that, wow, man, I was pre-diabetic. And I'm like, wow, start the ketogenic lifestyle. And it's like changes things around. And I'm like, why are we not being taught this? There's even people who are going to their medical professionals, are telling them, I know you're diabetic, but the ketogenic lifestyle is not the way. Like, what? Like, do you really know what the ketogenic lifestyle is? So like, that was like really truly one of my passions. I know I got a little bit off the rocker there. I know I got a little, but having that growth mindset, having a growth mindset, because you're going to meet individuals, you're going to meet medical professionals that have a fixed mindset. They read a book that was written in 1972, and it's the book that they read when they was in college, and everything that's in that book is going to be the truth and the light until they die. So they don't have a growth mindset. They're fixed on that same information. And I tell everyone that I'm a person that's a science person. I have a degree in biology. And one thing that turned me off from becoming a doctor was a lot of the mindset, that it was like super fixed. I was an athlete. How many times did people tell me you can't play basketball and get a degree in biology? I'm like, oh, I can't? Watch me. And I'm not going to be a doctor because I don't know if I can. So, I mean, that was like one of the things that really turned me off about that profession. But I can tell y'all, you guys here got to have that growth mindset because you're here. So are you working through your problems? Some people tend to quit too quickly. It's just, I give up. It's too hard. Anything that's easy is not worth having. So are you working through your problems? So number 8, are you snagging too much? Eat first, then evaluate. So if you're snagging too much, eat a real meal first and then evaluate whether you still need those snacks. And last but not least, are you trying to be perfect? There's no such thing as perfect. All right. Be consistent. So we're not going to worry about being perfect. We're going to just be consistent, and then we're going to have great success. So thank y'all for coming in on the Facebook and the YouTube side. I'm going to get out of here. We already been here for 40 minutes, longer than I usually like to be here, but I got a little bit passionate tonight. So y'all, I will see everyone on the Facebook and the YouTube side. I will see y'all next week. Y'all can check my book out. My book is on Amazon. If you go to Amazon, type in the Keto Playbook, you can find my keto book there, and it will walk you through the keto lifestyle. If you go to Etsy, you can find my meal plan there. It's $5. It got 2 months worth of meal plans. It has 23 frequently asked, 63 recipes and 2 months worth of shopping lists. So my free document is the one that's 23 frequently asked questions, 100 keto swaps, and 148 item shopping lists. Y'all can find that in the bio. So on my YouTube and my Facebook, folks, I appreciate y'all. And y'all, if all of y'all come over to TikTok and or Clubhouse, and I'm going to start the Q&A, which we call an after party, y'all. So show up, speak up, and keep up. So y'all, let's go. I'm ready for these questions. Let's get better. Let's learn about this lifestyle, and let's reach our goals. I'll see you guys next week.